Morning Watch, Tuesday's edition, Delta Rainbow Television Channel 41 on the USA platform, Star Times 113. You're welcome to today's magnificent show. Very shortly, we shall be bringing you our very first segment, interview, and an update of COVID-19 of government with a very short skit. And we'll be looking also at the continuation of the interview series with Operation Hawk. So far so good. Which way Delta? And when we return, we'll take another short break with our skit and return with our safety corner on our Tuesday's edition of Delta Morning Watch. Alright, Jonathan Page is my name, and so straight on to the show without wasting much of our time. Our sincere apology, yes indeed, for coming behind schedule. Alright, let's go. If you're ready, I am fully ready. And so with me on the show this morning is Comrade Gomet Crested. He is Urobo Youth President, and of course one of the Urobo Youth President. We'd like to say welcome, Comrade Gomet Crested.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
And so joining us also is Comrade Ezekiel Daniel, SSAE on security matters to the Delta State government. We'd like to say welcome to the show, Comrade Ezekiel Daniel.
Thank you, Presenter. Good morning, Delta. Good morning, Nigeria.
Okay. And so we'll be looking straight at the update of on the COVID-19, which is ravaging the world. And yesterday we had a statement from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, instructing the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to do some needful, which is trying to ease out ways where normal activity will begin in Nigeria. First of all, they did extended the curfew till 10 p.m., starting from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And so we'll be looking at that, though we are yet to hear from the state government, because it was specifically directed that PTDF, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, should liaise with the state government in ensuring regulations in the various states outside what Mr. President has instructed. So we'll be looking at that. I'd like to say, Comrade Crested. And so far so good, the update on COVID-19.
Yeah, number one, we must thank God that even as bad as it is, it has not gone beyond control. God is still in control. As a matter of fact, we hope that we've gotten to the peak of this whole thing, and we expect that to be reduced. The situation will be getting better for us. And having said that, it's so somehow worrisome that we expect that the whole thing would have reduced before now, but as what we are saying now is still before now. And I must, like I said, I must thank the president at his own level. He has used wisdom to say that each state should come up with a strategy to see how this thing works. For instance, a state like Lagos, like some other state there, the figures are not the same across the board. You understand? Now, so if we use the same principle to guide all the states, it may not be fair, because as it is, shutting down has a way of breaking down the economy, destroying so many activities, obstructing so many activities. So with that, his instruction to see that every state government come up with the strategy to see how they can manage this whole situation. With that, some other states will still be running, while we hope that where we have it in a more high volume, we'll put our heads together to see how we can manage the situation. And that takes care of the fact that, we understand that before now, several states' activities were tied in one way or the other to Lagos State. You understand? So now we're trying to see how the states, I'm sure they will begin to see how they can do business even without depending on Lagos State in particular. So I think we will come out of it with the plans in place. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Comrade Crested. All right, Comrade Ezekiel. He talked about hinging the instruction from Mr. President on COVID-19 to liaise with various state government in ensuring that the activities are in guideline with their own regulations. Okay, do you also, he said that we're also hoping on God to see that the cases becomes drastically reduced. But from what we have on record is over the world and in Nigeria is rising, it's not decreasing in numbers, irrespective of whatever measures are being put in place. Do you also see that within to believe that, yes, indeed, it...
Well, I want to take it from a spiritual perspective, in the sense that we all know that spiritual controls the physical. And I'm happy when Mr. President directed through the PTA that places of worship should be open. When matter like this becomes complicated beyond human reasoning, we have to take it before Elohim. A lot of researchers have been in laboratory all over the world battling to get vaccine or to get cure. Yes, we've heard purportedly that there are cures, there are vaccines, and but we've not been able to realistically lay our hand on any. So what am I trying to say in essence? That Mr. President's directive and equally reaching out to governors of various states to open. To me, that's why I said I'm looking at it from that perspective, that it really gladdens my heart, because we need to cry to God to have mercy on humanity. And I believe if we frontally do that, I know that definitely Nigeria, Delta states, the world will come more stronger in terms of putting an end to this menace.
All right, thank you, Comrade Ezekiel Daniel. Back to you, crested government. Now, in all of these, places of worship should be granted the permission to go fully all out, and schools have been advised to remain shut down. Don't you think also there is a conflict of wisdom by the federal government to take such a decision? Because even in churches, you have children attending churches and they'll be running around the church, the temples and all of that. So why should the churches be allowed, religious outfits, talking about church, mosques, and African traditional places of worship and all of that, if they should go full force in resuming their activities, maybe with some measures of control, extended maybe from 50 to 100 to 1,000 and something like that, then why should the school should remain shut down?
Yeah, that's clear. We need to understand some fact. Number one is the fact that places of worship do not worship continuously. That worship is not continuous. They gather for a specific period of time.
Yes, it's not continuous, but then they have sessions. Morning sessions, afternoon sessions, like what we have seen. The present regulation is 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so if you start at 8, you end at 10, and at 10 to 12, maybe 2 hours for a particular Sunday. So.
Yeah, it is easier to be controlled in place of worship. It is easier to control the behavior of people. They provide various strategies to see how people can adhere to the government orders. In terms of provision of PPE, they provide nose masks, they provide washing materials, sanitizer and all that. Unlike when you have school where people travel from different places, different parts of the world. taking Abraka as a case study. If you ask Abraka to open today, if you open up Abraka University, which is Delta State University today, I can tell you people from Akwa Ibom, people from Lagos, different parts of the world will come down. So it will bridge different set of people from different places to come together. And it's not like you cannot just, you won't have control like in the places of worship. That you as people coming to the place of worship, I've seen churches, they go as far as providing some of this roadmap for people to ensure that the few minutes you will spend here don't go outside the regulatory order. You understand? So allowing churches to open, places of worship to open for now, I think the hazard associated with it is not as high as allowing schools to open. Because when you open up schools now, like I've said before, various people will come, students will come from various places and all that, and we see how the interstate lockdown is still in place, house skeletally somehow. But when you allow schools to come from different, the students to come from different places, that control will not be that effective. So I think for the government to have said places of worship to open for now, while schools should remain locked for now, is thoughtful enough, and it's a very good strategy to see how we can curb this mileage.
All right. Now, thank you, Comrade Creste. Comrade Ezekiel Daniel, having said that, don't you also think that if we have to go by the variance destination why to a particular school, which he has just enumerated, that it means the end to COVID-19 pandemic in opening our school is nothing near from now?
Well, I wouldn't want to toe that line, in the sense that, government agency, all agents saddled with responsibility of tackling this COVID-19, they keep reviewing the strategy every day. So, yes, we know that schools or institutions or what have you, is a mini nature of society, which means that students are bound to come into the school from different parts of the country. But in as much as they are coming in, I believe that by the time Presidential Task Force, in collaboration with state government, will open our schools, I know that there will be measures that were put in place, or measures that were given to religious body in regulating the activities of places of worship. So I know that when it comes to opening of school, such regulation, such measurements will be put in place too. Let me use our state as a case study. Knowing fully well that His Excellency Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, knowing fully well that he is a proactive and strategically placed governor. I know what he is doing with his kitchen cabinet on how to prevent and curb the spread of COVID-19 by the time schools are open in the state.
Okay. All right. Let's not dwell much on that. I've been told by my producer that we have less time. But also, you are a senior special advisor to the Delta State Government on Security Matters, and now talking about Operation Hawk. And now, what exactly is it that the state government intend to achieve with Operation Hawk? And what are the modus operandi of Operation Hawk? And how does it come to bear on the life of the people of Delta State?
So, before going into your question, I'm not senior special advisor.
Okay.
Senior special assistant.
Okay.
Yes. There is two different.
Okay. Yeah.
Now to the issue of Operation Delta Hawk. It's a necessity that we cannot run away from. As it stands, it's a reality that the state is facing security challenge.
Especially the herdsmen and the farmers.
And the farmers. Not only that, even on the waterways. What about the area boys? So these are challenges that we cannot run away from. And look at it as the conventional security personnel, they are doing a wonderful job. There's no two ways about it. But when you look at it, that most of these security personnel, they are from other parts of the country. Sometimes they find it a bit tasking on how to pin down these criminals. So, and based on that, the state government now look at it that let's come up with an indigenous security outfit where the fulcrum of will be sourced from within the state or within the locality, which will now give them edge on knowing how to pin down these criminals wherever they are. And in this regard, the vigilante, they are going to play a key role in Operation Delta Hawk, plus other youth bodies who have been playing supporting role to security personnel over the years. Because we discovered that these are people who are on ground that know the, so that is how it's going to operate. And I want to assure Deltans that the challenges of security which we are seeing now will be a situation Delta fully takes its place.
Yeah, you've answered two of my questions with the last one remaining. What would be the criteria for becoming members of the Operation Hawk? Before we come to that, I've been told to just wind up, but let's you the youth president, Urobo youth president, Comrade Crested. Comrade Crested, who are those, if you're called upon as a youth president, who are those who you will nominate to become members of Operation Delta Hawk?
Yeah, to start with, security issue is...
No, we're not starting with... Just go to my question directly. Who are those you will want to nominate as an Urobo youth president?
Every youth of Delta State should be part of this system.
No, you cannot... No. Get us clearly. Yeah. Everybody cannot be part of Operation Delta Hawk. Yeah. Selected persons must be part of the Operation Delta Hawk. Yeah. It's not a food for all. Yeah. Now, as a youth president in Urobo, which you represent here today, who are those you will nominate to become members of this Operation Delta Hawk?
Number one, we will nominate people that are not part of criminal act in the society.
We know that. Who are those persons you will nominate from the community?
The people we nominate for the community will work with the community leaders.
We know all of that. Who are these persons? Is it okay? Let me bring it down to bring it down a little to you. Is it the youth president, the youth leaders, the electors, the warriors, or who are those that you will nominate from every community to be part members of this?
Number one, we'll nominate people that are fit for purpose. We'll nominate youth whom we deem fit that these ones are.
All right, let me leave you comment because we don't have much time. You're not answering my question. Let's come up to you, comment Ezekiel Daniel. Yes, what are the criterion? Those names, those persons I listed, the youth president, the warriors of various communities, the electors who you call your bulls and all of that. Who are these persons? Who would be members of this?
Like Riley said, it's not going to be for all and all, but specific people who we've known over the years. For example, we are going to make the vigilantes, the ex-militants.
No, the vigilantes. No, don't go there. The vigilantes, the ex-militants have been nominated by state government already. Okay. That this Operation Delta Hawk will work in tandem with these bodies. Then just leave those ones aside. We know the vigilantes. We know this. We know that. I am talking about the community members that will be incorporated into Delta Hawk.
Yes, definitely. The state government is going to reach out to youth presidents, to community leaders, because these are the people who are grassroots. So they are in a better position. They are in a better position to now recommend to the state government that so group of people, this is what they've done in the past, and this is what we think they can still add in terms of value to this.
All right, thank you. I hope this issue of Operation Delta Hawk will be running for a consistent time. My producers will do the needful, and we'll have enough time to talk on this. Thank you, Comrade Crested, for coming on the show. Robo Youth Leader, for coming on the show this morning, Tuesday's edition of Morning Watch. And also Comrade Ezekiel Daniel, Senior Special Assistant to the Delta State Governor on Security Matters. Tuesday's Morning Watch will be right back after this time up. Don't go away. We'll be going straight after the skid break to Safety Corner. Jonathan Peji remains my name.
What are you doing? What the? What are you doing? Pull over! What are you doing? Pull over! You need to stop! What are you still doing on the highway? I'm so confused. Dude, look at him. He's going to go over the... Oh, my God. Dude, this guy's going to go into the bank. There he goes. Bro, you need to stop. Stop. Bro, stop. Bro, you're done, dude. Stop. Get off the gas. Hey. Hey. Are you all right? Do you know where you're going?
Yes.
You know your car's totaled, right?
What's the matter, man? What's the matter? You okay? He's a little pale. He might be diabetic. Are you a diabetic? Are you a diabetic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just get out of the car. It's smoking.
Come on, we got to get out of the car. The car's smoking. Watch out. He might be having a stroke.
Hey, wait a minute. I have a
He may be having a stroke. You need to help me get you out of the car. Yeah.
All right, Morning Watch Tuesday's edition, second day of the month of June 2020. You're welcome again. Yes, it's Safety Corner, and without wasting much of our time, we have our formidable crew, our resource persons, professionals in the act of safety, and of course the segment is Safety Corner. And on Safety Corner we have no other than High Comrade Dixon Urieje Amrumahwe, fellow Chartered Institute of Administrators member, Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, MFPSIN, and member, American Society of Safety Professionals, MSASP. He is a safety consultant and state coordinator, Federal Road Safety Corps, Special Marshal Delta State. Welcome, High Comrade Dixon Amrumahwe, to the show this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother.
And also with us is no other than Pastor Sunday Agbedu Obatokbeye. He is the State Secretary, Federal Road Safety Corps, Special Marshal, Delta State, and the Senate Assembly here in Warri, Delta State. Welcome to the show this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jonathan, and good morning to all our viewers.
And so we'll be looking at driving in the rains and bad weather. You just saw a skit, and I know that my producer will be bringing that skit back again when we are on the course of the show in order for you to get exactly what the state coordinator and the Federal Road Safety Corps Special Marshal Delta State is about or are saying with that very short skit. And also a quick reminder that we have questions for you to win this is the Nigerian Highway Code. Last week and the upper week we gave you questions and none of you could respond to the answers to these questions. But all the same, the numbers will be scrolling on your screen and the number to call to answer and to be part of this giveaway. This Nigerian Highway Code could be yours if you answer correctly. 070-3425-1021 and 090-5819-3716. That will be the numbers to call to ask. And I'll be giving you the question right away. What is the difference between an expressway and a highway? Same question last week. What are the advantages of regularly washing of hands and using hand sanitizers? That's the questions. If you answer correctly, then of course the highway code will be yours. And so let's go straight to the issue today. Before we do that, we'll go straight to the week in retrospect. All right, comrades, Amamakwe. Let's get the week in retrospect.
Thank you very much, Jonah. Well, actually, the week has experienced a lot of activities, and particularly the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, in view of the construction and, of course, the rehabilitation going on there. There have been a lot of traffic. Consequently, a lot of drivers have been overspeeding there. So we've been having intermittent reports about some crashes. Well, some without fatality, basically, but at least for vehicle damages, they are quite much. So we advise people driving on that axis to be very, very careful. Of particular interest to me is this issue that we showed, this video. I want us to, if possible, the producer gave us again. We want people to look at the passion that the police and the community over abroad have whenever they see a person that seems to be in distress. And look at it again. What is going to be our own response if it happens in Nigeria? You will discover that a man will have been killed by the police instead of trying to rescue him. And at the end of the day, from that, if our producer can give us that clips again, at the end of the day, you will discover again that the society all came together and tried to administer, first aid. And while that was going on, 911 was called, and of course there was emergency response. The response was swift. Otherwise, that man would have been a dead man. And I also saw that two of the females that were assisting the nurses just saw that while that clip, the tail end of that clip. Yeah. All right, producer, if you're ready, let's have a clip of it, and before we proceed. That's exactly what we think that Nigeria by now should have been developing to. Like you have ordinary Ghana here, you have ambulance going into the farms, in case there are any emergencies. But here we have no emergencies put in place. You understand? We are hazardous to ourselves. The police is hazardous to the society. Recently, you have heard what is going on. Some journalists were arrested in Warri at that time. Thank God, Organizer Boykimi is taking that up. But the thing is that, what is the corporate responsibility? What is the corporate image? The police want to tell the society that, yes, we are, what do we want to do? 2 weeks ago, we heard about a female call that was killed by a colleague. And in Lagos, you heard about what happened at Onikon, where another policeman killed a fellow policeman. If they can kill themselves, how much more? The civil society. And that is the reason why we still believe, I believe that there is possibility of their mentality to, so that we can know that when you approach a policeman and say, look, please, I am having this condition. Before you know it, if it is Nigeria, I'm sure the person must have gone beyond in the name of coming to attack the police. Unlike what we say in America
And
abroad,
civilized
even ordinary
climes.
Ghana here, Sean, we can see the emotion that they attach to life, the value for life, which is what we don't have here. If basically in all our realms of activities here, we don't have a value for life. We just look at life as life like a chicken, human life like a chicken. We shouldn't be. Drive and we crash. He never bothered. As long as he's alive, he will get money to buy another one. But what is in their heart and their mind? What is causing us these things? These are psychological and emotional feelings that majority of them need to be counseled for. How can a policeman be harassing doctors? How can a policeman be harassing nurses who are going for emergency work? How do you expect them to show that value, to show that mercy to patients when they have been brutalized on the road? The government actually, on that aspect, under the week in retrospect, I really felt touched. And I think the government, if they are very serious, they should do something as urgently as possible. The police need to be reformed. Let me just stop there.
Thank you. Why the rains begin to come, because I don't know, in my somebody who will be proceeding to work so far, he would have accosted that. So what are the precautionary measures to be adopted?
Well, on a serious note, I have just little observation week in retrospect. Driving from here to Abraka, myself and the state coordinator, we begin to feel somehow, we don't know how Deltans, we don't know how visitors to these axis of town or state will be able to cope. The road is have the army on good. But from there to Abraka, from there to Eku, not too bad. But immediately you pass through Eku, that portion of road down to inside Abraka, I was asking the state coordinator, how will Nigerians, how will Deltans access this part of the state in the next 3 weeks? So we want to call on government, if they should go, they should do their best to see that whatever there is that place now, that filtration, that spot there.
If I just while going towards Campus 3,
yes,
just by the police station, at that intersection there, it's quite, I mean, there's a very big crate there
that can take a trailer.
I tell you the truth. And whenever it rains, I tell you that place is going to be an eyesore. And this is a community where we have students, you know, quite a big community. You know, when I saw
You
it,
said it's an expressway, complete expressway.
yeah, no, it's supposed to be a highway, not
yes.
expressway.
The highway.
But then, you need, Jonah, if you pass through there, you will sympathize for this country.
Yes.
To be honest, it's a big eyesore, a very big crate in the intersection.
And beyond there, towards the Ababo side.
Yes, Ababo is the worst.
That one is on Facebook, trending on Facebook. So we. Why I was congratulating the state government, because I happened to be one of his friends on Facebook on the 5 years anniversary. I also pleaded that they should give that axis of the road attention. Then Benin, even when there is interlock, you know, those on emergency are allowed to go through. I happened to have a family friend that had emergency, they needed to go through. They spent about 3 hours from, you can imagine there is lockdown, there no much traffic, but the potholes are something else.
Yeah, it was on the news this morning. It was on your news this morning. At least I heard of it very well.
We want to appeal. If you are a traveler, we are saying these things. We are trying to appeal to government to help us, and we also want you that is monitoring this program. If you are the type that you are going to Benin, please, if you are supposed to move by 12, because the program they are going for is around 3. Please move around 9 a.m.
Yeah.
You will be able to access everything. And once you know you cannot come back, we don't know now the lockdown, the time they have moved the curfew to.
Thank God it's not 10 o'clock a.m.
It's not yet regularized by our own state government.
By the state government,
yes,
yeah.
because that's the presidential directive,
yes, exactly.
and every direction.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
with them, I also want to thank God for the state government. You know, this from NRA Junction to Front Roundabout, it has always been a little here, a little there. But I was surprised they brought back their equipment to site again state. So from UBA, they started work from UBA, the one near Paradisco, and they are now moving it, working towards NRA Junction. So the contractor, we are here in the rains. Do your best.
Okay. Well, you've heard from Pastor Sunday Aigbedu, and of course, Icrome Dixon called in for our teaser, which will grant you. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from NMPC. My name is Desmond.
Desmond.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Number.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Desmond. Let's hear your take.
All right. About what time you have seen in the screen?
Yeah.
So the federal road safety man is not talking loud. We are not hearing it very clear.
Which of them?
About what the SROC is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is that what you need to talk to us about?
Yes, about that driving I've seen for the screen, so
Yes. All right, thank you. Thank you, Desmond, from NMPC Housing Complex. All right, thank you, Desmond. Okay. Okay, the numbers to call are 070-3425-1021 is on your screen there. You can see them and be part of it. And tell us, what is the difference between an expressway and a highway? Then 2, what are the advantages of regular washing of hands and the use of sanitizers? Do that. You make highway code for road user, a handbook. All right. Hello, good morning to you. Hello? Always endeavor to turn down the volume of your TV set while calling. Okay, we lost that call. Always endeavor to turn down the volume of your TV sets while trying to reach us on the show this morning. All right. Hello, good morning. Hello? Yeah, good morning. Uh-oh. Lost that call again. All right. Okay. Now, let's... okay. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
Am I on to tell you?
Yes, you are.
I'm calling you, but the first number on your screen is wrong.
The first number on the screen is wrong?
On the screen is wrong, yes.
Okay.
It's 25, not 28.
Okay.
The first answer to
Your name, please. Your name, please.
My name is Blessing Ijaji.
Blessing Ijaji.
Yes.
Are you a road safety officer?
No.
Are you a federal road safety marshal?
No. I'm just a driver.
You're just a driver. All right, let's hear you, Mr. Ijaji Blessing.
Yes, on the aspect of the difference between an express road and a major road.
Yeah, a highway.
And yes, on that's a highway.
Yeah.
Then an express road is a lane divided into 2, maybe by a gutter or a core, right? The block aspect of it. Then that has about 3 to 4 lanes. Why a major road? It's a road you coming.
Are you referring to a major road or a highway?
Highway is a road that is linking from one village to another. That is when you are coming and I'm going, they are facing each other.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's all I want. I have to say.
All right.
And
Thank you.
It's a rule that you have to be careful. You can't use your back and come in. That maybe you out of your road and you are about to come in. You come with a revive. No way. Whatever happens to you, take it like that.
All right, that's the. Okay, what are the advantages of regularly washing of hands and the use of sanitizers? Comrade Dixon, you are laughing.
to save you from what is happening that is on ground now.
To save you from what is happening.
Yes, that is the pandemic that is on ground. To keep yourself neat.
Okay.
Yes, keep yourself neat and have yourself to be protected from this COVID-19.
All right, thank you.
To God.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ijaji. Blessing.
His number.
Yes. Can you call your number for us? All right, I have his number all the same.
Yes. Can you call your number for us? 070.
All right, Mr. Ijaji, I'm listening.
375.
90286.
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ijaji. The state coordinator, Federal Safety Corps, will get back to you. I, Comrade Dixon Orejo Amrumakwe, if you write in your answers. Okay, do we take more calls? So
Yes.
we'll go straight to our discussion. Okay.
can.
Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Toyo calling from Mumbai.
Tuoyo from Ubeji.
Yes.
So, Tuoyo, how are you this morning?
Fine.
All right, let's hear you.
Okay. When it's an highway, I think there is some two important together.
A highway is
A way linking two important communities.
linking two important communities.
Let me just say like 2 years and ask for it.
With 4 lanes.
Yes, one for speed and the other for traffic.
Okay, one for traffic,
And one for
one for traffic, and one for what?
speed lane.
One for what?
Speed lane, one for
Speed lane.
and one for yeah. Then an expressway. I think it's an expressway that other road links to.
Is an access way, right?
Yes, yes. That other road access road links to.
That other road links to.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Go to the next question.
The hand washing and the hand sanitizer, like
Yep.
I think washing of hands. I think you need to sweat on the
Is to what?
You need to sweat
Okay.
or the COVID-19.
All right.
I think that's it.
All right, thank you. To nip the spread of COVID-19. Okay, thank you. I, Comrade Dixon Orejo Amrumakwe, the State Coordinator for the Road Safety Corps, Special Marshal, will get back to you. Among the two of you who becomes the winner and the owner of the Nigerian Highway Code Road User Handbook. But remember, you must answer correctly to the satisfaction of the quiz committee of the Federal Road Safety Corps before you can have a winner of this. All right, thank you very much. Tuoyo all the way from Ubeji and Blessing all the way from Ekpar also. Okay, now very lastly, what are the limitations of a learner or how do you, okay, well we've been told that we don't have much time. I comment Dixon Orejo Makwe. Yes, the answers to these quiz, are we taking them today?
Well, I think we can take them today.
Okay.
Yeah, if our producer does not mind.
Okay.
Or we move it to next week. I think it's better we move it to next week.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll announce it next week and we'll bring another new quiz.
All right, thank you.
But the rest of them, the people that called today, should actually remember, like Desmond, Blessing, Toyo.
Yes.
They should try and remember and be on the program, watch the program next Tuesday.
To find out who becomes the winner.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Hi, Comrade Dixon Orijam Romakwe. Fellow, Chartered Institute of Administrators, member, Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, MSIPN, and member, American Society of Safety Professionals, MSSIP, and a safety consultant and state coordinator of Federal Road Safety Corps, Special Marshal Delta State. Thank you very much for being part of the show as always this morning.
Thank you very much.
Pastor Sunday Aigbedo, State Secretary, Federal Road Safety Corps, Special Marshal Delta State, and the Senior Pastor of the Chosen Disciples Assembly Warri. Thanks for coming on the show this morning.
Yeah,
good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jonathan Kpeji remains my name. Do well to join us as we go on to our next programs, telecast on DRTV. Morning Watch Tuesday's edition will return same time, same station next week Tuesday when we bring you a fresh edition of the program. On behalf of my very amiable, vibrant and astute producer, Matthew Ona Akpoma and Kingsley Ekwe, and the production crew of Tuesday's edition, we say do have a great day. Presentation director, yes, on the show this morning has been most wonderful, of course, and we have on the Comrade Onirode Mukoro. Yes, he's doing a yeoman job. Thank you very much, Comrade Onirode Mukoro. And on graphics, Dafe Soko, we call him the Bush Doctor. And of course on camera, Lucky Emebrado. Engineers on duty, yes, Mr. Amyoku, and of course Emeke Nweku. On behalf of the entire production crew, we say thank you for joining us. Join us next week Tuesday again. Jonathan Kpeji remains my name.
Good day, students. I'm Mrs. Augustina Amamize, your English teacher. Our topic for today is on antonyms and synonyms. We begin with the first one, which is antonyms. What are antonyms? Antonyms are words that are opposite in meaning to other words. Before we can determine the antonym of a word, we must first know the meaning of that word. So let us quickly look at this table. We start with the first example, kindle. What does kindle mean? Kindle means to start burning something or to make fire to burn. Then the opposite of kindle is extinguish. Extinguish means to put off fire. Then we go to the second one, rigid. Rigid is something that cannot be changed. So the opposite of rigid is flexible. Flexible is something that can be changed. Then the third one is elevate. What do you understand by the word elevate? Elevate means to promote. So what's the opposite of elevate? Opposite of elevate is downgrade. Downgrade means to demote. Then the fourth one is accidental. Accidental. What does accidental mean? It means something done by mistake. Something done by mistake. What's the opposite of accidental? Accidental, the opposite of accidental is intentional or deliberate. That means something that is planned. Then the fifth one is sapped. Number 5, sapped. Sapped means to drain energy. When you waste energy, you are sapping it. Then what is the opposite of sapped? The opposite mean is what? Invigorated. To invigorate means to regain or refresh yourself, to regain lost energy. Then we go to the sixth one, which is brevity. Brevity is from the word brief. When something is brief, it means it's short. So what is the opposite of brevity? The opposite of brevity is verbosity. Verbosity means something that is lengthy. That means very long. Then the seventh one is scarcity. What is scarcity? Scarcity means when there is lack, when things are not adequate. Then the opposite of scarcity is abundance. When we have a lot of things, large quantity. Number 8, outspoken. Outspoken. What does that word mean? Outspoken means when you talk too much. A talkative is outspoken. Then what is the opposite of outspoken? Opposite of outspoken is taciturn. Taciturn means when you're very quiet. Then the ninth one is crude. Crude. When we talk about crude, we are talking about something at the raw stage, something that is raw. Opposite of crude is refined. That is something that has been changed from the raw state. Then the 10th one is voluntary. When we talk about voluntary, we are talking about something you do willingly, not by force. So opposite of voluntary is mandatory. Mandatory means something you are forced to do. Then the 11th one is convicted. When someone is being convicted, it means the person is guilty of an offense. So the opposite of it is acquitted. Acquitted means you are not guilty. Then number 12 is frugal. Frugal means economical. When you are frugal, that means you can manage things. You are economical. So the opposite is extravagant, when you are wasteful. Then we go to the 13th one, which is pacify. Pacify means to calm someone that is angry. When someone is already angry, when you calm the person's anger, you are pacifying the person. So the opposite of pacify is annoy. Annoy means to make angry. Then the next one is obsolete. When something is obsolete, it means it's old or outdated. Something that is old or outdated is obsolete. Then the opposite is fashionable. Fashionable means something in vogue or something that is modern. Then we have pride. Pride means when someone is proud. Pride is when someone is proud. That means you lift yourself above others. Opposite is humility, when you bring yourself low or bring yourself down. Then the next thing is entrance. Entrance means where you use, there is a point of entry to a particular place. The opposite is exit, where you go out from. Then the next thing is opaque. Opaque is something that light cannot pass through. So opposite is transparent. Transparent is what light can pass through. Then the next thing is amateur or novice. Amateur is someone that is new in something. Someone that is just a beginner. The opposite is a professional, that is a seasoned person, someone that is experienced. Then we have virtue. Virtue have to do with some good qualities. So when you have good qualities, is described as virtue. Opposite of virtue is vice. Vice have to do with negative qualities. Then the next one is polite. When you're polite, it means you're respectful. You always talk in or behave in a respectful manner. Opposite of polite is rude. Then we have rural. Rural has to do with a village setting, something that is not in a city. So opposite is urban. Urban has to do with a modernized place. Then we have alleviate. Alleviate means to reduce. Let's say someone is not fine. You give the person drug to reduce the illness, is alleviating it. Then opposite is to worsen. That means to increase the ailment. Then we have indolent. What does indolent mean? Indolent means lazy. So when someone is lazy, you can call the person an indolent man or woman. Then the opposite is hardworking. The next one is predecessor. What does predecessor mean? Predecessor means, that word pre means before. So predecessor means before another person comes. So if someone's father was a king, when the man dies, the father becomes predecessor, then the person that is replacing him becomes his successor. So the opposite of predecessor is successor. Then the next one is blunt. Blunt means not sharp. So the antonym of blunt is sharp. Then we go over to the next one, which is fragile. Fragile means something that breaks, that can break easily. So the opposite of fragile is durable. Durable means it can last long. Then we have optimistic. Optimistic means when we think positive. A positive thinker is an optimist. So the opposite of optimism is pessimism. So when they give us optimistic, then the opposite becomes pessimistic. Then we have fragile. Fragile means something that can break easily. Opposite of fragile is durable. Durable means it can last long. Then the next one is disperse. Disperse means to scatter, something that can easily get scattered. So opposite is to assemble, that's to bring together. Then we go over to the next one, which is generous. Generous means kind. So the opposite of generous is stingy, when someone is not kind. Then the last one under antonyms is compulsory. Compulsory means something that is mandatory, something you are forced to do. Then the opposite is optional. Optional means it's not mandatory. So we go over to the next one, which is synonyms. What are synonyms? Synonyms are words that are nearest in meaning to other words. To determine the meaning of a word, first we have to know how it was used in the sentence. So for synonym, You don't just take the meaning of the word the way you know it before, but you have to check how it was used in the sentence. So let's take some examples. The first one is rampant. Rampant. What does it mean? Rampant means common. So the synonym of rampant is common. The second one is pathetic. Pathetic. Pathetic means sad, something sorrowful. So if you hear a pathetic story, it means a story that is sad. Then the third one is hostile. Hostile. When you are hostile, you are aggressive or harsh. Then we have astonishing. Astonishing. Astonishing means amazing or surprising. So the next word there is inevitable. Inevitable means something that cannot be avoided. So the synonym of inevitable is unavoidable. Then we go over to the next one, stigma. Stigma means disgrace or shame. Something that brings shame is a stigma. The next word is terrified. What does the word terrified mean? It means frightened or something that makes one afraid. Then we have extravagant. Extravagant means wasteful. So when you waste things, it means you're extravagant. So the next word there is callous. Callous means wicked. That means the person is not kind. Then the next word is frank. What does frank mean? Frank means to be honest or sincere. Then we go over to the next one, which is aggravate. Aggravate means to worsen. When an issue becomes worse, you say it has aggravated. Then we have shady. Shady means dishonest. So when someone is doing a shady business, it means it's a dishonest business. Then the next word there is clandestine. Clandestine means secret. Then we have inquisitive. When you are inquisitive, it means you are curious, you want to know everything. Then we go over to the next one, which is indolent. Indolent means lazy. Then we have meticulous. When you are meticulous, it means you are careful, you do things carefully. Then we have legitimate. Legitimate means legal or lawful. When you say someone is a legitimate child, it means is a lawful child or legal child. Then we have benevolent. Benevolent means kindness. So when someone has a benevolent heart, it means the person has a kind heart. Then we have ephemeral. When something is ephemeral, it means it's short-lived. It cannot last for a long time. Then we have mimic. Mimic means to imitate. The next word is inimical. When something is inimical, it means it's harmful. Something that can cause us harm is inimical. Then we have frail. Frail means something that is not strong. Something that can break easily, is fragile. So that is what frail means. Then we have squander. What does squander mean? Squander means to waste. So when you like wasting things, it means you are squandering things. The next word there is probe. What does probe mean? Probe means to investigate. Let's say something happened, they ask you to probe it. It means you should investigate what actually happened. Then we have imperative. Imperative means something that is essential. So the synonym of imperative is essential. We go over to the next one, which is rectify. What does rectify mean? Rectify means to correct. So after maybe they gave you something to read, to cross-check, after correcting it, it means that the word for correct means rectify. That means you just rectified it. Then we have surmounted. Surmount means to overcome. So when we say surmounted, since it's past tense, we are not going to say overcome, it becomes overcame. Then we have impudent. Impudent means you are rude. When you lack respect, you are rude. Then we have immense. Immense means great. When something is immense, it means it's great or large. Now we want to do some exercises to actually understand the difference between antonyms and synonyms. So the instruction says, from the group of words lettered A to D, choose the one that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined words. So the first example says, I am happy that I passed the compulsory papers well, though I didn't do quite well in the dash ones. So the question now is, what is the opposite of compulsory? We have some options there. The first one is unimportant. B, primary. C, inconsequential. D, optional. So since compulsory is something that is a must, the answer becomes optional, which is D. Then we go over to the second one. His primary aim was power. Getting rich was only a dash one. So what is the opposite of primary? We have A, secondary. B, tertiary. C, minor. D, subsidiary. The answer is secondary. His primary aim was power. Getting rich was only a secondary one. So we pick A as the answer. That is secondary. Then we go over to the third one. All the houses erected in the country's capital without the approval of the authority had to be dash. Opposite of erected. Now we have rebuilt. B, demolished. C, deserted. D, evacuated. So erect means to build. So opposite of erected means is demolished. So the answer is B, demolished. Then we have the fourth one. It is so surprising that though Taiwo is quite polite, Kainde is dash. The word that is underlined is polite. So what is the opposite or antonym of polite? A, gentle. B, boisterous. C, gallant. D, impudent. Polite means you are respectful. It is impudent, which means rude. So the answer is D. Then we go over to number 5. Whilst the first speaker was applauded, the second was dash. Whilst the first speaker was applauded, the second was dash. So applauded is underlined. The first option there is praise. B, booed. Silenced. D, abused. Applaud means when you are clapped for. Maybe you have done something outstanding. So the opposite is booed, when you are mocked. Then we continue with our exercises. This one is on synonyms. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word or group of words. 1. Only one little girl witnessed the accident. Only one little girl witnessed the accident. The underlined word there is witness. What does witness mean? Let's look at the options. A, knew about. B, explained. C, saw. D, proclaimed. So the correct answer there is saw, because witness means to see. Then we go to number 2. The crowd of soldiers stood silent and afraid. What is underlined is intimidated. So the first word there is questioned, B, frightened, C, attacked, D, informed. So intimidated means to be frightened. 3, I don't think that anything he does will affect the results. I don't think that anything he does will affect the results. Affect is underlined. So we are of affect. A, improve. C, influence. D, reverse. So the answer is influence, which is C. Then 4, I don't engage in shady business. Shady is underlined. So let's look at the options. A, unknown. Shadowy. C, unrevealed. D, dishonest. So the answer is dishonest, which is D. Then the last one, some politicians engage in clandestine meetings. What is the meaning of clandestine? Clandestine is underlined there. A, secret. B, unknown. C, important. D, sudden. So the answer is A, which is secret. So clandestine means secret. So we have assignment for the week. The first one is explain the meaning of these terms, antonyms and synonyms. 2, give the antonyms of these words. 1, intentional. 2, rural. 3, natural. Number 3, give the synonyms of these words. 1, humility. 2, doting. 3, rarely. Class, so far we have been learning about antonyms and synonyms. Let's just do a recap. Antonyms means words that are opposite in meaning to other words, while synonyms are words that are nearest in meaning to other words. We also learned that to know what the antonyms of a particular word is, we have to know the meaning of that word first. Then, to find out the synonym of a word, we have to know how it was used in the particular sentence. So thank you so much. I hope that all we have learned, when you put it into practice, you do very well.
Good day, students. My name is Peter Nwanono. I'm here to teach you mathematics. We are going to be taking a vision class on a topic called sword. Now let us see the topic so that you can follow very well. Now, what are swords? Swords are irrational numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction or as a ratio of 2 integers. For example, we have pi, square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5, square root of 7, and so many others that cannot be represented as a fraction or as a ratio of 2 integers. It also means that this square root of numbers can never terminate, which means they go on and on till infinity. It means you keep on doing the division continuously without termination. So we are going to look at the rules of surds. There are 5 basic rules which are commonly used in surds. The first one there says that the square root of xy equals the square root of x times y. Then we have the second one, the square root of x divided by y equals the square root of x over the square root of y. We also have the third one, we say the square root of x plus y is not equal to the square root of x plus y. The reason why we have to emphasize more on this is because students often see this as the rule number 1, where we have the square root of xy equals the square root of x times the square root of y. But take note that when you have the square root of x plus y, is not the same as the square root of x plus the square root of y. We have another case again, which is the fourth rule, which says the square root of x minus y is not equal to the square root of x minus the square root of y. And the last one, we have the square root of a equals a. It means when you multiply 2 surds that have the same value inside the square root, it will give you the value itself. Then let us go to some examples. Now let us look at this particular example. Example 1 says, if we have the square root of 10, then this particular example follows the first law, which is the square root of x, y equals square root of x times the square root of y. So you see that we can break 10 to be 5 times 2. So that will give us the square root of 10 equals the square root of 5 times the square root of 2. Also, to obey the second rule of surd, which is square root of x divided by the square root of y equals the square root of x over the square root of y. You will find that here again we have the square root of 12 over 7 equals the square root of 12 over the square root of 7. Here we have a section where we talk about simplification of surd. We found out that 12 can be broken down further, which means 12 can be broken down to give us 4 times 3. And here if we take the square root of 4, we are going to have 2, while 3 remains in the surd form, which is part of our example. Here we now look at simplification of surd. How do we simplify surd? Let us look at simplification of surd. It means, simplification of surd simply means breaking down the surd into smaller surdic values. By surdic values, we mean that the value is in a square root. Here we have the first one, simplify the following. Square root of 75. B, square root of 45. C, square root of 300. Let us look at the solution. For A, we have the square root of 75 is breaking down into the square root of 25 times 3. Here we have again, following the first law of surd, we have square root of 25 times 3 is now